Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining. Let's wait for another couple of minutes for others to join.
I reckon that's about a quorum, so I think we should probably keep going or kick off, I should say. We are recording the session, so for those that join a little bit late, they can always go back and catch the start of it. But I think we've got a good quorum there of people online, so just want to start. I'll just go back a slide actually. Thanks for joining, everyone, wherever you are. I know there's a lot of us that I'm currently in the Northern Hemisphere, and there's a few that are all around the place. So thanks a lot for getting up early or staying up late to joining us. And looking forward to a really cool session today, talking about Katalon and how to use Katalon to automate Dynamics 365. Just by a quick introduction, I'm Andrew, or Drew, most people call me. I run our ACT and New South Wales operations for KJR, normally based in Canberra, but at the moment in the northern hemisphere. My colleague Andrew Wood will also be joining us, and also we have Natab joining us from Katalon, who's going to walk us through how you can achieve some of this automation. Just wanted to firstly start with the acknowledgement of country. Normally I am on Ngunnawal country, but today I'm not. But I want to acknowledge our traditional owners, their elders past, present, and future, and emerging leaders and on any of the country that you're joining us from. Quick overview of today's session. So I've got the introductions, which are just about all done. A little bit about each of the companies presenting, KJR and Katalon, and then we'll get into the live demo, which is should be a great little session. Just a brief overview of KJR. Notice that for many of the folks who are joining us, this is probably the first time you've come across KJR. So we're a software quality assurance business, started in 1997, then lead up to the Y2K Y2K changeover. And during that time, as with now, there was a great need for testing to make sure that systems were stable and not going to fall over. I think now we're even more, as a society, even more dependent on technology than we were back then. So I think software quality assurance and testing and automated testing are definitely well and truly required to make sure our systems in our current society keeps functioning. I'll throw now, introduce over to Matab to introduce Katalon, and then from there we'll dive into the session, so which is the cool piece. So over to you, my friend.
Thank you, Andrew. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining the session. Mahatab Siddiq, Senior Solution Architect at Katalon. I have around 20 years experience in software industry, including engineering and automation. I worked with industry leaders like Nokia, IBM, Niveo, Cast, and now I'm with Katalon. I do work with partners and customers globally across the Katalon. I do help partners to get them enabled, helping them out to design their automation solution for their requirement. And once we get connected after this webinar somewhere, definitely I'll be a point of contact to discuss about the technical stuff related to automation in Katalon. Today we are going to discuss about some capability of Katalon, which is very important for the package solution like MS Dynamics 365 or SAP or Salesforce. All these are the package solution which has a different framework, different technical challenges and all. We'll see that how Katalon are overcoming all these challenges. Let me share my screen. So as we know that if you think about the automation testing, manual testing even, it has three different phases to complete the complete automation and manual testing life cycle. For example, when we are going to start automation testing for any particular application, first we get involved in the first phase of that, that is planning, analysis, and the creation part. So basically, when you are getting in touch in any application, you basically understand what are the application architecture, what are different modules, what are functionalities, what validations are required, what all the different test cases that need to get involved into it, right? And the second phase when come into the picture, that is about the analytics and the execution part. So when you have and a script is ready in your hand and you need to execute it, that could be a different way to execute. Whether you can execute directly it from your machine, maybe you can set up a CI/CD pipeline, you can set up some remote server, remote virtual machine or physical machine, and then you can start doing it. You can schedule it in different regression tests or performance testing and all, right? So the second phase is coming to for the execution part. And the last phase is the analytics and integration part. That is the actual outcome. So for example, if you have developed some kind of automation script for any application having more than 10,000 test cases, and you have more than hundreds of regression test suits, which is getting executed day by day, every day, maybe twice and thrice in a week or something like that, you will have a lot of test result that you need to analyze in order to improve your application. That is the actual purpose, right? So the analytics phase, basically we analyze the execution part, that how the test is getting executed, what are the different defects in the application, how we can, raise it to the actual development team, like defecting in any ALM system and all that. So that is the third phase of it. So all these three different phases, basically completing the end-to-end life cycle of testing, whether it is automation or manual. Now, Catalan is offering end-to-end ecosystem which fulfills all these needs, right? If you see Catalan offering five different components through which you can fulfill your needs, whether it is phase one, phase two, or phase three, that depends on your requirement. So the first component is KC, that is the studio. It is basically an ID, similar like Eclipse, from which you can create or automation script. You can record any particular test flow, test cases, and you can manage your script. You can create test suits. You can inject data into your script to perform the data-driven testing, and you can implement different techniques. For example, if you want to get integrate with some third-party library, for example, there is MFA authentication, right? You can integrate that library in Catalan and you can just achieve that. So you basically, the Catalan Studio is your authoring tool where you basically create the script, manage it, and maintain it as well. The second component is the KRE, that is the runtime engine. This is the component which comes into the phase two when you want to execute it. So for example, if you're going to execute your script in any CI/CD platform, for example, AWS or Azure or any CI/CD cloud-based or in-premises based solution, including Jenkins. So KRE will be helpful to execute your Catalan script. It can get connect to your Git repository or any Bitbucket repository. It can pull the scripts, it will get executed, and all the result will fall down into your analytics platform of Catalan that we're going to discuss in a couple of minutes. Now, the third component is the test cloud. So when we execute it, there could be two different ways to do. For example, if you have your own infrastructure ready for the execution part, for example, if there is a web application like uh, Dynamics 365, this is purely web application. And you need to do a more coverage of it. More coverage means you want to test it in different platform, including operating systems and different browsers and different versions as well. Sometimes it is quite difficult to manage all those infrastructure in premises. So in that point of time, the test cloud will be helpful. It is the device form of Katalon, which is completely SaaS-based solution. So you just need to get the license of it, and you can execute your test over the cloud. And you can execute it in any operating system like Windows or Linux or Mac OS. You can choose any browser. You can choose many versions of that browser just to see that the coverage is good enough. So test cloud is basically a device form of Katalon. Now the test ops is fall into the phase three, that is analytics and integration part. So in test ops, you can see, you can analyze all the test results. You can see that how test is getting executed, what are the flakiness in your test, what are the different frequent failures in the test, and accordingly you can raise the defect to ALM system, for example, Jira. So from test ops, you can integrate your ALM system and you can directly raise the defect to against any particular release or version. And the last component, true test, that is fully AI-based product, where you no need to write even a single line of automation script. Everything will be done by AI itself. So you just need to configure your application entity and true test, and you just perform some manual workflow. Like if you want to test the sales cycle of NMH Dynamics, so you can just uh, log into your application and instruct true test that what all the flow you want to cover, and accordingly true test will identify the unique test cases, and it will write the automation script that can be executed anywhere through KRE, maybe in any virtual machine or physical machine or any CI/CD pipeline. So these all are the five components which fulfills the end-to-end life cycle of any manual or automation testing. Now SAP supports most of the package solution, including SAP, Oracle, Salesforce, Microsoft, Dynamics. So because see, there are two different kind of application we may do testing, like either the custom development application where any software company developing their own application, they can plan the testing because they know well about the technologies, the way how they're rendering the content in the page. So they can easily write the automation of it. But when you are doing testing of any package solution, that means it's a box pack solution. You don't know about the internal technology, that how the content are getting rendered in the page, how the locator are getting created, what are different elements are there, right? In such cases, it's quite difficult to write the automation in a straightforward way, because sometime when the content is getting generated randomly on the page, maybe automation script will not be able to identify that. So frequently you will be having issue like flakiness in your test. So those things are getting overcome by the Katalon. So Katalon can easily understand those package solution and can write the automation script. So we have quite a good client base across the world. Uh, I mean, in North America, Europe, Asia, Australia, Africa, and South America. So we have a good community as well, and we have good forum as well. Let me take you to the Katalon Studio part, that is the authoring one. So this is the Katalon Studio. This is an idea as we discussed, and from here we can author everything related to our automation aspect. So in our left hand side, if you see, there are a lot of folders available, each and every folder having some set of responsibility. For example, the test one having a responsibility to keep all the test cases over here. So whenever you create a new test case, that will fall into this particular folder, and the test object. So whenever you record any particular test, that we will see practically how Catalog do it. So whenever you are recording any particular test case, there are two different things. The first is the flow, that how you are moving into the application. For example, first you will browse the login page, you will put your credentials, and then it will take you to the actual module. Then you will perform some certain operations. So while doing all this recording, Catalan will record the steps along with the elements. For example, when you are putting user ID and password in text boxes and clicking on button, Catalan understand that what all element are getting involved in this flow, right? And accordingly, it will record both the things. So whenever you're recording any particular test, the test case will fall into the test cases and all the related objects will fall into object repository that we will see in a couple of minutes. And we have the test suits. So when you create a set of test cases, you need to create a regression test suits as well. So test suite is nothing but that is a combination of multiple test cases. So for example, to fulfill the complete sales workflow, there could be 20 different test cases, right? And if you want to do a regression of your sales workflow, you have to create one test suite and you include all the sequential test cases into it and just run it. So test suite will automatically execute all those 20 test cases in one go. Right? And then there is a data mining as well. I mean, you can prepare the data, you can inject it into your test cases, and you can perform the data-driven testing. So for example, if you want to test the sales life cycle in Dynamics with 20 different records, that includes the data validations and the type of different data and all, you can just simply create one Excel file or CSV file, or maybe you can just create, you can pull it from your actual database as well, like SQL or Oracle, and that will be available in your Katalon, and then you can integrate your test suite and test suite collections or test cases to that data. So when you execute it, it will pick the data from the imported data itself, right? So let me show you how Katalon recorded. So here in top bar, you can see there are a set of tools. So this one is for the web recording. Let me show you the SPY one first. So I have just captured one object from this particular page, right? If you see in this window, this is the object on which I have captured. And here, if you see, there are a lot of locator automatically get identified. So there are different type of locator that we already know, right? Whether you can identify any particular element by locating through the XPath, or maybe through different attributes, or maybe through CSS or image or a smart locator, right? So Katalon automatically analyze all the possible locator for that particular element. So later on, when there is any broken happen in the application, Katalon should automatically fix it. That is called self-healing that we will discuss in detail. So in order to identify any particular element, it is up to you that how you want to use it. If you want to go with XPath, you have all the possible XPath available. If you want to go with attributes, you can choose from this list. Or if you want to go with the smart locator, just select it. It's up to you, right? So if we record it, for example, So I have just recorded a simple script. Here in this web recorder window, you can see all the steps have already getting recorded. And here you can see the associated object of each and every steps. So for example, this one, here you can see all the same locator that we had a look into spying it. So you can see all the locator over here. And for this steps as well, for this one. So as we discussed, whenever we are recording any particular test Katalon, it will record two different things. The first, the steps, that is nothing but the action that you are performing on any particular web page, and the element associated with each and every steps, right? So both you can see over here. We can just save this one. So this is our test case ready, right? So these all are the steps that we have recorded, and these all are the objects which are stored in this folder inside the object repository. Here, if you see the script mode of it, so whenever we are recording, it provides you two different mode, either the manual one where you can see in this UI interface, or the script mode where if you want to make some changes in your script or you want to inject some capability. For example, you have just seen when I was recording this test and when I was recording the login function, there was one MFA window came into the picture, right? So that MFA, you can automate that while using the Google Authenticator library. So that library you can inject and you can call those method over here to bypass that MFA part, right? So you no need to manually pass that ID from your phone, but that will automatically get authenticated through the authenticator library, right? So through script mode, you can do some changes and make some more enhancement in your script. All right. Now we were discussing about the self-healing. So whenever there is any changes happen, so for example, let's think that you have created some set of test cases for MS Dynamics and that is working fine. Now later on, when you have upgraded the version, there is a possibility that the existing test cases may get some challenges. Maybe some locator got broken. So how you are going to fix it? If there is a limited number of test cases, you can manually identify and fix it. But when there is a thousands of test cases and many test suits, it is quite difficult to identify each and every broken object and to fix it. It will take a lot of time. Katalon doing that automatically. So let's see, for example, let me open any particular object. This is one of the object getting identified by this locator, right? I'm just going to make some changes into it. It means this is incorrect locator now, right? So when we run this script, Katalon will try to identify this element by this locator, but this is not going to be available in the page. So what Katalon will do? Let's see. I'm just running it again. So first time when you execute your test case, it analyzes the element that is recorded, right? Just to ensure that the correct locator is associated with the steps. So it may take a couple of seconds to identify the very first time. Now this time when it is trying to identify this particular button, it has some issue because we have already changed the locator, right? So here if you see, we have changed the locator of one particular element, but it has already completed that step. So here, if you see that it says self-healing. working input on this. And if you look into this inside, it says there is one broken locator found, and this is the locator name, and it has proposed a new locator, right, which is working fine. So this is the available locator in the page now for this particular element. If we just check this box and approve it, it will get added to the object that we incorrected manually. So let me open that again and see it got corrected. So this is very useful when you have many objects involved in test cases, and there could be a possibility that there could be some broken locators in many fields that will automatically get fixed. So that is one of the very important capability of Katalon. The second is like as a tester, what we felt always whenever we are running any automation script in order to test any application, there is a possibility of fatal error in terms of maybe there could be a network congestion and site is quite slow, or sometimes there is a lot of traffic happening on the page, and that is also one of the reason, right? The site can get slow. So how we do that? I mean, during that, during such situation, basically we do inject the explicit or implicit weight, right? So for example, if we are clicking on any particular button, we are just ensuring that that button should get available in the page. So what we do, we basically apply the delays, and once that button is available, we action get performed, the click action, or maybe set text or something like that. But if there are many elements and many steps are there, I mean, you have to put a lot of delays. It may make your automation script slow because it is by force you are delaying the execution. So Katalon offering a smart wait. It means whenever application gets slow, Katalon will automatically wait for that element to get loaded. If the application is running fine, it will not wait for anything. It will just continue. So you no need to worry about the custom explicit wait or implicit wait in the script. So you can just simply go to settings and execution, and you can just enable it here. If you don't want to enable the smart wait, you can just disable it, and you can do the delay by yourself if needed. Depends on the situation and condition on the application, right? But you can enable it, so it will automatically handle the waits. You don't need to explicitly inject any particular delays in the steps, right? The third very important part of automation script is the data driven testing, right? Because we have to check the behavior of our test cases while injecting many data into it. There could be thousands of data and all, and data can come from different places. So if you see in this particular folder, data files, from here you can you can import different data. So let me create one test data, right? So while creating this test data, if you see in the type, it says what kind of data you are going to create. Are you going to import this data from Excel file, CSV file, or you are importing directly it from some actual database? So if there is application database available, for example, MS Dynamics also having a database where it is storing everything, and you want to pull all those data for testing purpose, you can also make a connection to that particular database, and you can pull the data during the course of execution, right? Or you can create your own data in Katalon, right? So when you select internal data, it means you have to create columns, different columns, and you have to put a lot of data by yourself, right? So if you have created any test data and you are pulling data from Excel, it will come over here. So this is one of the test data file, right? Having many records, more than thousands records are here that you can control while executing your test case. For example, let me open any test suite. So here you can bind your test data with your actual test suite, right? This is the data and that you can bind. You can iterate, I mean, how you are going to test. You want to test it with all the rows, I mean, all thousands of rows that is available in your test data file, or you want to put some range from row number 3 to 10 or something, or any specific rows that you can also inject here, and it will pick the data accordingly from your test data files and it will get executed, right? So data driven testing is very important. That is quite easy in Katalon to do. And the same data can be shared in many test cases along with. Now, one of the very important part in Katalon is the AI features. Katalon is fully packed with a lot of AI functionalities, which is helpful. For example, that we discussed about a smart weight and the self-healing that is based on AI. Now there is one more feature, that is Studio Assist. It will assist you while you are working on any automation script. So for example, you have you are working on any automation project, and some tester has handed over you to the existing test cases in which you need to make some modification. And if the test case is very huge, it is little difficult for you to understand one by one, line by line, that how it is working, what are the use of each and every steps, how they have created the logic inside it. So in Katalon Studio Assist, you can simply select your script, right click, and go to Studio Assist Explain Code. It will explain you about the code, that what this code is doing basically. It is opening the browser. I mean, for each and it will create a summary of the automation script, that what actually it is doing. It will be helpful to understand the existing test cases, which is already written by some other tester, and now you have to make some modification into it, right? The second feature of Studio Assist is to write the automation script for you. So for example, you have to write some automation script for any particular feature in any application, including MS Dynamics. So you can simply write those steps, I mean, those details in a simple English format. For example, this is one of the documentation that I have written. You can just copy it here. Let me delete all these. So you can simply write the instruction in a simple English manner. Select it, right click, and ask to generate code. So on the basis of the input that you have written here, it will write the automation script for you, right? And these script can be used uh, to perform, execution, or you can set up it in any CI/CD pipeline. For a small test cases, yeah, it's fine. But for the big test cases, it is very useful to, to avoid unwanted steps. So you can write it in a simple English, and it will write the automation script for you, right? Now, like Katalon Assist giving you these two major capability to explain the code. I mean, it is writing documentation for you for any existing test cases, or you can create automation script while writing some simple documentation, right? It will understand it, it will write it. Apart from this, there is one more feature of a Studio Assist, that you can chat with a Studio Assist as well. So for example, if you are working on any application and you don't know that how to handle alerts in Catalan, and how to implement, what are the different keywords that you need to use, right? So you can simply open it and ask how to handle alerts. It will give you a step-by-step instruction along with the simple script that you can use, right? So see, it has already explained you that what all the different type of alerts Catalan supports and how you can use that. As we know that Catalan using Groovy script, so you can write it in Groovy. Now, If, for example, if you want to write the output of any particular test case in an Excel file, but you don't know that how to do that, you can simply ask Studio create a custom to type Excel file. You can give more detail into it, that how many columns you want, what are the type of the columns. The more detail you give here, it will give you more, a robust script. So it has written this simple script for me, which I can just copy and paste in my test case and it will work, right? So Studio Assist having a very helpful features, which is very helpful while writing automation script in Katalon, right? When you are having any issues. The second thing is that when you are having any runtime error, right? The log error, you can also put that log error in Studio and ask that what mistakes is in your script which is causing this particular error, and Studio will help you out that how you can fix that. Okay, so here, I mean, in console, you can see the log is getting created here. So you can just copy the error one and you can paste it here and ask Studio Assist that what could be the potential cause of this error, and it will help you out. So now till now we have discussed about the capability of Katalon Studio. There are a lot of more capability that we may discuss when we connect to in one-on-one deep dive session, right? We would expect you to come back to us, reach us to get know more about the Katalon capabilities. Now the second phase, as we discussed about the analytics and integration part. So when we are ready with the automation script and we are executing it in different ways, we need to see the outcome of the automation execution, right? So Katalon having one more component called test ops. This is test ops generation 3 that we have recently launched this month, right? From here, you will be able to see the high level dashboard of your test result. If I select filter the dates, so this is giving me a high level dashboard related to the execution. So there are total 1.8 to 1,000 execution in past 2 to 3 months. And these are the percentage of pass criteria. 91% was passed and 6.70 was the failure and 1.33 was skipped, right? And the failure one, you can deep dive in the failure reports that we will see. And here it is giving you some idea related to the test coverage, the environment from, I mean, where you have executed it, what operating system was used, what was the version of the Chrome or any browser was used to execute it, right? And some more details over here. And if you see the reports, there are many reports actually. So let's see in real world how we work basically. We while doing planning and analyzing the requirement of testing, we basically get integrated with any particular ALM system, right? Like Jira or ADO, and there you are making all the plans. And whenever you are writing the automation script, you basically connect your script with the release plan, right? So that everyone can track that this test is belongs to that particular release, and is that release is capable enough or in a good criteria to get released or not, right? And whenever you are raising any defect, that defects will also get included in that release itself. So from defect report, you can see all the defect which was raised in the release itself. So in this particular execution, there are 4 different defects created that you can see here. So it will take you to the ALM system. If it is ADO, it will take you to the ADO. As this one is Zira, it is taking me to the Zira, and it will attach the link as well of the defect, right? So suppose development team is looking into this particular defect, they can just click on this link and they can see the detail about the defect. They can see the errors. They can see the log as well. the steps, what are the different steps was taken, and where exactly the issue has happened. This is the point where issue was happened when it was trying to identify this particular object. It was not able to click on that particular object. It means there is some broken happen and self-healing was disabled, right? So they can easily understand the problem and they can fix it, right? And they can revert you back. So whenever a new status, so first time when you are executing any test case, if there is a failure, you can raise a defect. Now they confirm, development team confirm you that this issue has been fixed. You can test it again. And when you test it again, the same test case get passed, it will automatically update the status in Jira itself. So everyone will get to know that everything is running smoothly. Now, one more aspect of test ops is the integration part, right? So whenever we are working on a real-time project, the integration matters, right? The integration to your repository, integration to your LM system, integration to any CI/CD pipeline platform. So here you can integrate with various industry tools. Like these are the repository where you can connect, including Azure and AWS. These are the LM system and the pipeline, including Azure, Jenkins, AWS, Katalon CLI, and Circle CI, and the notification through email, Slack, or Microsoft Teams. So those integration you can do over here. It will provide you very easy interface to provide the details and just get it configured in your test ops. Now, the last point that I want to highlight is related to the test cloud. Like we discussed, the test cloud is the device form of Katalon, right? So whenever you want to perform the testing and you want to use a wide range of environment and infrastructure to do the more coverage for your application, right? You need a very wide range of infrastructure as well. That is quite difficult to maintain in premises. So from here you can do that in Katalon Test Cloud. So this is one of the application. Here you can integrate your repository, the Git repository, where you have uploaded your all the automation script written in Katalon Studio, right? Once you are importing your script here in Testops, now you are ready to get it executed over Test Cloud. So you can simply come into the execution part, and if you see in execution, you can put some name over here, select the repo, or your Git repository, and select the appropriate test suite or test suite collections which you want to execute. And from the environment, if you see, this is the test cloud configuration, right? So from here, you can select the appropriate operating system and the browser and their versions. Whatever version you want to use for your testing purpose, that you can select for different browsers, right? And operating systems. So this is very useful for web. Now, if we talk about the mobile testing, it is very much needed system because browser may be maintained somewhere, right? You may maintain it through the virtual machine and you can install different type of browsers and you can maintain multiple virtual machine as well. But when we talk about the mobile testing, it is quite difficult to maintain physical devices, right? If you want to test your mobile application in 20 different type of mobiles and different type of Android operating system, or iOS operating system, right? It is difficult to maintain it because you don't just need to buy the devices, but you also have to maintain it. You have to maintain all the operating system. You have to downgrade it, upgrade, and all that, right? So in that point of time, also this is very useful. So if you see, if you have any mobile application you are doing testing for Android or iOS, you can use Test Cloud. So here you can select uh, the operating system the type of phone, and the phone, on which phone you want to do testing. You can select multiple one, right? So all these environment are get selected. Now you can select the appropriate profile, and you can also schedule it. So for example, you want to run the regression test every day at midnight. You can just come here, select the start date, end date, and select the frequency, and you can just schedule it. So it will get executed over the test cloud, and all the test result will fall into your test op. So here you will be able to see the execution. So all execution will come here. You will be able to see that, and you can get it navigated. You can see what all the test cases was there. If you feel there is a failure and bug, you can just click on this bug defect. It will connect you to Jira, and either you can connect this one with any existing ticket, or you can create a new issue from here, whether it is bug or a story or epic. That depends on you, right? So that's it. I think I'm done with it. Thank you for joining. If there is any query, maybe we will have a couple of minutes at the end of this webinar for Q&A. We can discuss that. Yeah, Andrew, maybe you can take over.
Yeah, thanks very much. That was a great preso, and yeah, I love getting into the detail of how these automation tools are working. And let me just share my screen for the closing slides. I haven't seen any questions. I just checked it there a second ago, but I thought probably I'll start off with one that I had as you were presenting. Is with Dynamics in particular, is there any sort of hints or tips that you uh, have got for people that are tuned in through the experience you had in setting up the demo or previous engagements with Dynamics? Because I know it can be a little bit tricky from an automation point of view.
Andrew, can you hear me?
Hello. Yep. I can hear you.
Hello. I don't see any Q&A. If anyone having any question, they can just raise, and we can just discuss about it.
Yeah, there wasn't any questions there to start with, but sometimes that means that you've done such an excellent job explaining everything. It all makes perfect sense.
Yeah. And we can also reach out to us after this webinar to connect in one-on-one session to deep dive into the different capability of Katalon, and we can also look into the complete workflow of Dynamics 365. The purpose of this webinar was to give you an overview of the capability of Katalon. That was a few capability that we discussed, right, related to recording and execution and the analytics part. There is a lot more to discuss about, so feel free to reach out back to us, and we will be happy to set up a separate session, one-on-one session, to discuss it in more detail.
Guess if there's no more questions, then how about we call that a wrap, and yeah, we can reach out as you
I've got
said.
a question.
Hi, Drew. Sorry, just joining. There are a few questions in the chat.
Oh, there are, are there?
Yes, if you want to have a look, I think I can see 4 questions.
Oh, okay. Wonder why I couldn't.
Yeah. Thank you, Sonika, for asking this question. Yes, Katalon is very much capable enough to integrate with the BDD framework, right? So there are 2 different ways to do it. Either you can create a new feature and new steps in the Katalon, and that you can execute in any test cases for BDD. Or if you have any existing test cases written that is following the BDD, you can also import that in Katalon, and you can get that executed. So in both the ways, BDD is quite comfortable with Katalon. Yes, of course, as we discussed, uh, Imran, let me answer to your question. Yes, as we discussed that Katalon is providing a lot of integration to many tools, including ALM system like Zira, X-ray or ADO, and the uh, you know, it is a bi-directional update system. So whenever you have made a plan in ADO, you can just integrate that with Katalon, and you can uh, associate your test cases with each and every requirement. So whenever any status gets changed, it will also get updated in your ALM system as well. Yeah, great. So I mean, when you are recording any particular test, so for example, you are recording a sales cycle. Maybe you want to just create one lead and you want to make some modification, and then you want to make the changes in the status, and finally you can just complete it. So there could be multiple screen can come into the picture while completing this use case, right? Accordingly, you can record that in Katalon. Katalon will split it in different folders, and it will combine in one test suite, and sorry, one test case, and that can get executed. So you can easily track that how many screen was involved in this particular test case, how many different iframes are there, what are the different object associated with iframe and pages. That all can be easily tracked in object repository.
Any
Is there
more
any
for
more
him?
question? Please feel free to ask. We have another 5 minutes left.
Hamid has asked a question.
Oh, sorry, Hamid, I missed that. Can Katalon handle
Oh, yeah.
multiple tests when we run multiple test cases parallelly? Yes, we Katalon does support. There are two different ways to handle the concurrent execution of test cases. Either you can create a test suite collections. Test suite collections provide you capability to run your tests sequentially or parallelly, right? So, for example, you have one test suite having a set of test cases, and you want to run it in three different browsers parallelly at the same time. You can do that through the test suite collections. The second way is if you are using test cloud, you can run the parallel session over the test cloud. Yeah, that can be achieved in Katalon.
Oh, is that with different credentials as well? So Hamid just added a little extra note down the bottom.
Yes, of course. So in Katalon, you can create, see, there are different type of testing Katalon supports, whether it is web or Windows or API or mobile testing. And there could be also a hybrid kind of testing as well. So for example, if you have one application having some set of features in a mobile application, some set of features in web application, right? So you can create the custom test cases, including the web, API, and mobile. So for example, first, in first test case, maybe calling some API and getting some data from API. Then it is calling web application, feeding some data into there. And finally, it is calling mobile test case. So that you can easily achieve in one application. So hybrid application you can create in Katalon. Super, that is a question to your answer actually. It's end to end, yes. Different credentials, you mean the application credentials, right, Hamid?
Yeah.
Yeah, that you can handle through the data-driven testing. So for example, one app, like just we created one test case to check the login feature, right? So I just want to test it with 10 different credentials. You can just create one Excel file, put the credentials over there, import that in Katalon, and attach that Excel with your test case. So you can easily create a different test data in the Katalon, and you can bind that with a test case. So definitely it is achievable to test it with different cadences. Yes, Sonika, definitely. You can reach out to us. We can set up a meeting one-on-one, and I would love to give you a detailed demo of the BDD framework.
Yeah, definitely would take more than the 2 minutes left that we've got, that's for sure, for a demo of the BDDB. Cool.
Yes, of course. Because whenever you're logging into the system with one credential, it creates the sessions for that user only, right? There's the settings and that profiling and all that. So if you are talking about the different credentials, it means you have to log off and log in again with the different credentials, right? Yeah, you have to log off. That is actually the
Very good.
application behavior.
Yeah, cool. We might be able to pick that up with Hamid after the session, but with under a minute to go, we're probably going to have to call it there, and then we'll follow up with everyone and make sure that we answer all those questions. So I think the meeting, the session will terminate in a moment. So thanks very much, everyone, for coming along. Great questions. Like I always love to see lots of detailed questions, so people obviously following along. And thanks very much, Matav, for the excellent overview, and look forward to chatting to everyone again soon.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, guys. Talk soon.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.